you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talk. Coming up at 9 o'clock, Robert Colin from On Top of the World is scheduled to be here. 10 o'clock in the 10 o'clock hour, Sue Mosley will be on the radio talking about last night's candidate form. But right now, from What's the Line, it's Kevin Stone. We're going to talk about football realignment. Kevin, good morning to you.
Morning, Tom. How you doing, sir?
I'm a little confused. Texas and Oklahoma are now in the SEC starting soon. UCLA and USC are in the Big Ten starting soon. UCF is on the move, probably to the Big 12.
Big 12, yep.
Georgia Southern needs to go back and play one AA. But when I say that, I'm kidding. The shoe that hasn't dropped yet is Notre Dame. That's a very important piece of this puzzle, isn't it?
Yes, sir. I agree. I think it's a no-brainer to go to the Big Ten, Big Ten, because then you keep the natural rivalry that they have with Michigan and USC jumping in there. They always wanted to stay independent, from what I understand, is so they can keep that USC rivalry. Well, if USC is already in that conference, and you got Michigan in there, and then it's just the location of where they're at, kind of no-brainer to me that they joined the Big Ten, but Notre Dame is Notre Dame, man. They do a lot of weird things that I don't explain.
Is the writing on the wall, though, in these conference realignments that the ACC will go the way of the Big East to become a basketball conference?
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. The 3 or 4, maybe North Carolina, Clemson, Florida State. I don't know, the Virginia Tech, I guess, maybe would be a football.
No, it's Florida State, Clemson, Miami, and VT.
Miami, yeah.
Right. North Carolina ain't never leaving the ACC because they ain't never leaving North Carolina State and Duke, so they're never leaving the ACC.
That's true. They're all basketball.
But then where do they go? Does Florida State really want to go to the SEC? Does Miami really want to go to the Big 12, which has been rumored they could go to? Does Clemson want to come to the SEC? Does Virginia Tech join the Big 12? The Big 10? Are we going to have – my question to you, you're the guru, are we going to have within the next 10 years 3 or 4 super conferences and that's it?
Yeah. I think the writing's on the wall for it shaping up that way. I'm no guru on that. If Nick Saban can't even really explain what's going to happen. So it's crazy out there with everything going on. But
does it seem to bother? Does it seem to bother? Does it seem to bother Las Vegas at all that this realignment's happening, or does Vegas just say all we worry about is the games played on the field? This realignment is that doesn't confront us.
Yeah, that's all I think they worry about. That's just individual fans. They set a line, but those things move up and down based on how people are betting on it, and I really don't think people say, oh, well, because this is a conference game, what does that add? 3 points? I can explain home field advantage. I can't explain how a conference, other than a rivalry. But rivalry games are rivalry games, whether it's non-conference or conference.
Well, what do you do for the stalwarts of conferences, though? Like the SEC is not going anywhere. It's going to get bigger.
No.
But what happens to the Vanderbilts of the SEC?
Shoot,
they've been there since the inception. They've been there since the beginning.
Yeah. You can't really kick them out, but you just grow and expand, and then you got, it's almost to me like, golly, the old days of the AFL and the NFL, and then before them coming together and finally having 32 teams. What they have, about 20 each or so, and then
16 and 20 at the time, yeah.
16 and 20, yeah, and then they probably shave a few down. And
from a guy like you that looks at the points and you look at teams and everything, what does the shift away from anybody worrying about the West Coast in football, what does that mean to the game of football? Because with USC and UCLA coming east to join the Big Ten, it's like the Pac-12 is nobody cares about the Pac-12. And by the way, nobody's cared about the Pac-12 for a long time.
Exactly. I mean, they got Lincoln Riley now at USC. I think he'll turn them around and maybe, make them relevant again. But, yeah, UCLA, who cares? When's the last time they won anything that
What happens
mattered?
to a team like Oregon, though? Because Oregon's got plenty of money. They got plenty of backing. They got plenty of national clout. What is Oregon going to be like a Notre Dame, one of these schools that people are clamoring to get into their conference?
Yeah, I think they will. I think the Big Ten wants them, or would take them. Maybe not right away. Like in the 24th season when USC and UCLA, let them kind of, cut their teeth on them, those two for a minute. But I think Oregon eventually gets into a big, if there's going to be a big conference, they're kind of like the way that the Clemson or Florida State would be in the ACC. They're one of the good teams in a weak conference for football.
I read an article last Wednesday or Thursday that a guy said these conference championships and these conferences, once they get so big, that's going to be where the TV dollars go. And there may be a movement to where we get away from a national champion and back to, conference like we did in the 70s when a national champion was voted on, but it was not truly a national champion. And because a place like ESPN or a place like TNT, TBS and all, they can make so much money just showing. If you got 25 teams or 24 teams in a conference, you can just show that conference and have that championship, award that trophy. You can make a lot of money with that without even having to worry about a national tournament or anything. I don't know that I see that going away, but I could see that it could be definitely hampered by these super conferences. Yeah, man. I hope to God it doesn't get like that again, man. That was horrible back in the 70s. Colorado and Georgia Tech tying for a national championship.
1990. Yeah. Both of them.
BYU winning a championship in 1984.
1984.
Playing directional schools.
Exactly. Well, did they not beat Miami that year, or no? Maybe that was with Ty Detmer a few years after that. But they ended up beating Miami Hurricanes, went in there and got a little surprise.
Last time the Hurricanes were relevant, the VHS was still popular. Okay.
Oh man. Hey, you're gonna upset some of your friends now talking like that. But
I got friends. Let's be honest.
Exactly. 38 days, man. 38 days away from the.
We're looking forward to it. Looking forward to What's the Line with Kevin Stone. Last year, little tough on you last year, but we're ready for it.
52%.
Yeah, 52.
Yeah, that's winners.
We need to get you about 60%. That's where I want you.
Yeah, that'd be great. But that's also at the level of few even people that say that they do that, they'll never ever post their losses.
No.
So they'll always these people that just get online and post YouTube videos.
It's like poker players. They show you when they got big chip stacks as they're cashing out, but they only post once every 3 or 4 weeks because the rest of the time they're losing money.
Exactly. You know that a successul here's a stat. You're a successful gambler or a wager like sports betting. If you win 52.35%, you're making money. You're making money. I mean, my goal is to at least hit. I always try to hit 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
but
the best sharps in the business.
Yeah,
the best sharps in the business, right? The best sharps in the business want to get about 58%.
58, 55. I mean, you're doing great. Because you're 55 doesn't sound, we're only barely over, but you're only losing 45% of that.
Well, Kevin.
So,
Kevin, we look forward to What's the Line coming back this fall, pal. Thanks for joining us this morning.
All right. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate you, man.
We'll take a break. We'll be back after this timeout on WOCA, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.